You're listening to What She Said on Canada Talks.
In studio here in beautiful Liberty Village in downtown Toronto, and we are joined right now by our star hairstylist Jason Kearns and color director from Kearns Co, Aaron O'Brien. Hi guys.
Hi, good morning.
How are ya?
Good, fantastic.
Now Jason, I hear you're getting a very interesting reaction from people that have been watching these segments on YouTube. I love to put him on the spot right now. He has a few female fans.
Oh my God. That was, oh my God.
An online sex symbol.
It's like, oh no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I went there, Aaron. Come on, you were dying to.
It's best to ignore them.
So today we're going to talk about something that you say that nobody wants to talk about. I mean, they want to talk about you, Aaron, but they don't want to talk about something that they whisper to you about, which is hair loss.
Yeah, it is indeed. Hair loss is a little bit of a taboo with people. They generally don't like to talk about it. It's embarrassing for people. People feel that they have a low self-esteem with hair loss. They get quite upset about it. They look in the mirror every morning and they get upset. They feel like they're losing their looks. But I just want to tell everyone out there that is suffering from this, women and men, that don't be afraid to speak to your stylist or your hairdresser, your doctor, to find out all the information. So there's a lot of products that are out there for when your hair is thinning. Generally, I'd say work from the inside out first. Nutrition is a big factor when it comes to hair loss. And I always say to make sure that you have a good, healthy, balanced diet. That does help. Foods like salmon, walnuts, they're full of omega-3 acids, iron, that does help first. So first and foremost, make sure that you have a healthy, balanced diet. That's what I tell your mum. Then products out there, I like, there's in Kerastase, there's a good product, it's called Band Prevention. I'm nearly sure they still do it. If not, they have an upgrade, and I'm sure you can find it on their website. That also helps. It stops the hair thinning. It can regrow hair, stimulates the scalp.
Okay, hold it there. It can regrow hair?
Well, regrowing hair as in with stimulation. If it's not hereditary, and it's just from. If it's not hereditary, basically I would say product can help, and it can help re-stimulate the hair and regrow the hair and make it fuller or thicker or appear fuller.
Another thing, I love a good scalp massage. Does the massage help?
I think anything helps. We're in that kind of case. I mean, massaging your scalp, stimulating your scalp is always a good thing. I don't think you should ever stop. I think you should do it all the time, and that's the purpose of a good shampoo.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah. I find that is something that people do forget about, that they rush in and out of the shower, and a simple scalp massage to really relax and cause blood circulation. It does stimulate hair growth, especially men as well. They always forget. It's in and out of the shower, and they don't give themselves time. So it's like relax, like massage your scalp.
I was going to ask, sometimes it is a physical condition where you literally have to go to a doctor. I remember getting a bug. I didn't go to the doctor soon enough. I lost about a third of my hair, and my hairdresser did at the time say, there's something wrong. Mm-hmm. And it turned out to be a bug, got on the antibiotics, and then it took about a year for it to grow back. I mean, but it was a condition. It was an intestinal bug that, it affected my nails, my hair. So I guess it would be worth checking that first.
I think a lot of people forget that, and I think you have to remember as well, the average person loses anywhere from 80 to 100 hairs a day off their head. But if you feel that, I think, you did the correct thing. You went to your doctor. I mean, there's so many factors that can create this, and I mean, you notice with people with cancer, with chemo or radiation. I mean, it's terrible, and as Aaron said before, I mean, the head of hair is a woman's crown and glory, and they do look at themselves in the mirror, and men as well. And, when they see this, it has so many psychological effects. What goes through their heads is, their husbands, how do they see them as women? How do they cope with this stuff? How do they look presentable? How do they look real and without feeling terrible inside? It's a terrible thing to lose your hair, and it's a terrible thing for it to thin out. I mean, color has a big factor to it too. I mean, your scalp is light, and if you've got a mature woman and she's got grey hair, everything becomes more transparent with the lightness. So consequently, you think your hair is thinning out more than it actually is.
When a client comes to you and says that they're concerned about hair loss, what are your first recommendations?
Well, what I always ask first is if they've been to the doctor. If it was anything serious, then I do recommend that they do go to the doctor, just to check out to see if it's anything to do with their diet, if they've been sick lately, if they're on new medications. So I do recommend that going to the doctor first. I do check then the scalp, make sure there's nothing kind of going on there. Ask them their routine as well, what they're doing with their brushes, what they're doing in the morning, what they're washing their hair with. I ask a lot of questions. Consultation is key with your hairdresser. I'll spend a good 15 minutes talking about this with people to make sure I can give relevant answers to help them out.
Now, you said what you're doing with your hairbrushes. What should we be doing with our hairbrushes?
Well, first of all, I think that with your hairbrushes, make sure you've got the right hairbrush for your type of hair. There are so many kind of brushes out there, and you want to make sure that you have the right one. So my suggestion is speak to your hairdresser about which is going to be the right brush for you, and make sure you keep them clean.
And what's the best way of washing them? Just with some shampoo?
You could just use palm olive, and you take two brushes and you rub them together, and they will actually take all the hair out, and it makes it easier for you to work with that brush. But brushes that the bristles are too close together, or the spikes are too close together, they're going to rip that hair out.
So what is a bristle brush best for? A bristle brush best for? Okay, I said
A
that.
tongue tangler.
It's good for that, that's for sure.
It's best for smoothing your hair out, getting a little bit of volume. It's not going to give you curl the same way as a ceramic brush would. But you've got vent brushes out there that are very good, that actually pass through the hair a lot easier, or a wide tooth comb. But it's all in the way you handle your hair. It's you can't be aggressive with it. If you've got fragile hair, you've got to treat it in the correct way.
All right, so, and again, you think that hair loss is so unsettling for people because it is, as you said, our crowning glory. Is it the same for men as it is for women?
I think
Yeah,
so.
I'm a freak about it. I think my hair is falling out all the time. I absolutely rack Jason's brains nearly every day. I'm just like, oh, my hair is falling out.
And I keep telling him that, the only consolation about losing your hair is you never have to go through it again. One-time deal.
That doesn't help.
But you get men shaving their heads, and they're sexy shaved heads out there. I'm surprised that men have as much a thing about it as, well, maybe I'm not surprised about you, Aaron. But really, you find as many men asking you and as concerned about it.
Oh, yeah. Men, they're so upset over it. A lot of my friends speak about it to me as well. They ask me questions. Generally in the hairdressers, not as much so, but mainly my friends, guy friends, would ask me about their hair, asking is it thinning out, what can they use to help it. Guys are so vain now, like so vain.
It's the metrosexual thing.
You're vain as well.
Okay, boys, let's not fight.
I like to take care of myself, but I mean, I remember when I was losing my hair, I would always take my fingers and I'd keep pulling at the back to see if it was coming out and see what was in my hand. But basically, what I was doing was, I was pulling it out.
The things that you said you wanted to talk about was hair loss caused by alopecia. Exactly what is alopecia?
Well, basically, alopecia is it is hair loss, and it normally happens in circles on the head. And
Kind of looks like ringworm.
well, not really. No,
It
it's just
does. It looks like a
That's a
circle
horrible-
that disappears.
That's a horrible word. Yeah, I mean, you'll get these circles of hair loss, and funnily enough, over the years I've noticed different people have had them, and these spots actually travel over the head. They'll close up in one area and then reappear in another area. And sometimes they're large, sometimes they're small, but it makes it very, very difficult to deal with, especially on guys with short hair. But 9 times out of 10, it does grow back. But it doesn't look very pretty half the time, especially if it's on a guy. A woman with long hair, she can cover it up. But it has a tendency, from what I've noticed, to just work its way onto the face and then just disappear. But I've never seen it where it's been permanent. So I think anybody that does suffer from that, there's always that reassuring thing and light at the end of the tunnel that those spots do grow back in. But they do seem to travel around the head.
How do you treat that?
I don't know whether there is any treatment. I mean, you can speak to your doctor. I've never seen a treatment for it. It's just a process of time. But I think, as Aaron has said, everything comes from inside, and your diet, what you eat, what you're eating, and everything else actually does help. I'm a firm believer in gelatin, especially for the hair and nails. It does strengthen it. It doesn't taste very nice, but there's one out there called Knox's gelatin. And it comes in a powder form, and you mix it with water and you drink it. But it does definitely strengthen hair, and it does definitely harden nails.
So Jello doesn't work?
No, it tastes better, but I think there's the others.
Just
a lot better.
plain gelatin, and you mix it with water. And how often would you take that?
Once a day.
Once a day,
Yeah.
if you're losing your hair. But if your hair is fine?
No, I think you should be taking it anyway.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not once a day. The same way as cod liver oil. I mean, I think cod liver oil is great for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
So
take that every day.
Yeah. So let me ask you, for some people it's hereditary in families.
Mhm.
So is there a way of slowing that down, however?
I don't know.
There's a few ways of slowing it down or helping hereditary baldness. It works differently in men than women. Women generally lose it throughout the head where it thins out. Men lose it at the front and the back of the head too, mainly in patches. I always recommend Rogaine for men or Rogaine for women. It has a minoxidil. Minoxidil does help regrow the hair or slow the process down. There are different types for men and women, so don't get that confused, because if the women use the men's one, they'll probably end up with hair in their face.
Yeah, not a
they
good
don't want
plan.
that.
Not a good plan. No, okay.
Yeah, but I think with all of that, you've got to remember when you're getting into that kind of stuff, once you start,
Oh, you have to continue.
you have to continue. It's
Yeah.
a very, very expensive addiction.
So, but if gelatin and cod liver oil or any other kind of fish oil, I mean, it's English. I mean, we were given a
exactly.
spoonful of cod liver oil before we went out, and we thought it was cold in those winters, and then we moved here,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But that was what you had, and now you think it's all these omega-3s, it's all the fish oil. It's like, yeah, that's been around for a long time, but that's gelatin, fish oil. What else do you like?
Silica is really good as well. Silica is a product you take orally as well. You can take it in liquid form, tablet form. That also helps to create stronger hair. Anything that contains biotin as well, you can get it in your health store close to your house, and that also helps strengthen your hair. There's a lot of vitamins out there, but just do your research online. Check out what the best products are. You'll see reviews online about these products too. Just go for the best one. And do check with your doctor as well before you take any of these.
So silica, how much would that be a month?
Silica it's basically just like you pay for your average vitamin. It's inexpensive. I don't think it's too expensive. It's just what you pay for a normal vitamin. Could be $10 along those lines. Not too expensive.
Yeah, but Jason, you were talking about very expensive things to get addicted to.
Rogaine and that kind of
Rogaine.
thing.
Yeah,
Rogaine.
Rogaine. Rogaine can cost over $100 a month. It depends on how many you get. You can get a certain amount of bottles. Like if you get one bottle, it's cheaper. If you get three, it depends how much of this product you actually buy. You can buy a year's supply. It just depends on that, how much quantity you buy. But it's something you have to consistently take. You have to take it every day. Well, you put it on your scalp. It's a topical product that you put on your scalp once in the morning, once at night for men, and as far as I know, it's once a day for women. But it does become addictive, and if you stop taking it, whatever you've gained falls out.
Oh dear. Now, so what are some permanent options? There are wigs, hair pieces, and you say
Transplants.
plugs, but they're now different than they used to be.
Yeah, so the hair transplant is completely different than what it used to be. Plugs are where they actually just place the hair as plug form into the scalp, and it's a bit more unnatural. Transplant, they actually take a strip from the back of your head with the hair that they're going to transplant, and then they're going to put it into the bald parts of the scalp to make the hair regrow. They last forever, basically, so they say. But that's probably one of the best options of now. That's permanent, but it's really, really expensive.
Yeah.
So expensive. It's an investment. But if you want to grow your hair back and you want it back, this is 100% nearly guaranteed.
So that's not covered by OPIP.
No, it's not going
No.
Vanity things
I-
generally
Vanity
aren't.
things.
No.
So what about a wig, a
No,
good wig,
you know
a
what?
good hair piece?
I'm sorry, but in my eyes, no, I'm not in favour of wigs. I think there are other options. There are other ways of cutting hair. There are other ways of colouring hair to make your hair that you do have look better. But I don't know, wigs, they always look like wigs. It's great in a movie. It's great in a movie. Well, it's great for Halloween and everything else. But
There have been some great improvements in wigs.
I agree.
there's a great improvement, and if you go to a lot of hospitals, the best ones I've ever seen have been the Rocco Welsh wigs.
Really?
Yeah, they're inexpensive. I think they've done a wonderful job with wigs. They sell them in a lot of hospitals for cancer patients.
Yeah.
They breathe, but in the same turn, sometimes if not handled correctly by the person that's wearing it, they can look like wigs.
So what about hair extensions?
hair
Yeah,
extensions?
that's all I hear about is hair extensions.
Well,
Everybody's-
you've got to have something to attach the hair extensions to. If you've got no hair, it's or if you don't have any hair, it's pretty difficult. I think the snap-in ones that are actually natural hair that you put on strips and they've got small combs on them, they work well.
Yeah, clip-ins are
The
quite good.
clip-ins that they do give you volume. They do make it seem as though you've got more hair.
But not the
And-
ones that you actually weave in.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's the ones you weave in, and there's the ones that you glue in, and then you
But
press it.
like weaving, just quickly, with weaving extensions and then, for instance, tying up your hair really tight can cause what we call traction or tension alopecia, which is where you lose the hair around the front hairline. So it's where you have your hair too tight. That can actually cause hair loss. So you have to be very, very careful with that sort of thing. So weaving, I don't really agree with. So that's wouldn't be a big option for me. Well, to give advice on for anybody.
So are you telling me I should stop doing my fake facelift by
Uh,
pulling my hair right up, tight up there?
Not a good look.
Oh dear.
Actually, it works. It's not a bad. It works for a night. So the key is use good products, take your vitamins, work from the inside out,
That's it.
keep your
Yep.
brushes clean.
Yes.
And I know you two disagree about flat ironing.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
but keep it to a minimum.
Definitely keep
That's
it to a
right.
minimum.
And what about blow drying?
Keep it to a minimum. Also, make sure that you have your hairdryer on medium heat. Don't have it too hot. People that don't know how to control their hairdryer tend to keep it too hot, dry out the hair, and hold it too long on the scalp or throughout the hair. It'll burn it, destroy your hair. So keep it on a medium heat and minimal
And-
use.
And nothing against my Velcro rollers, right? They're
No.
fine.
No, we love your belt.
Okay. You know, one subject that we haven't touched on, and we're saving it for our next segment for anyone out there who wondered why we didn't sort of concentrate on this, it's because it deserves a segment all of its own, and that is the hair loss due to cancer and cancer treatments. And there's an awful lot to talk about when it comes to that, so we will give everyone lots of notice. I think it's the first week in January.
First week in
Yes,
January.
indeed.
And we'd
We'll
appreciate
be
it
back
if people called in.
And if people call in or they want to know anything about that, just there's all sorts of stuff around that. How your hair grows back in, how to handle it, how to treat it, how to
Very much so.
Exactly.
how to baby it.
We're
And,
here to help.
You're here to help.
Yeah, I think all hairdressers should have a specific person that offers. I would pay $1 a minute for a really good scalp massage. And there, I think it should be an added service.
Well, I think you're getting that anyway.
Well, your place you do, but
Yeah,
believe me, in
exactly.
others you don't.
Okay,
All
fair
right.
enough.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.